Good day, everyone. Today I am going to share you another video, and I would like to go deep and discuss more on the behavior of a ladderized if statement. Okay, so on my previous video, I did discuss about the if conditional statements, how if behaves, and what is the functionality of if statement. Okay, and I made mention also that there are actually different forms of if. We have simple if statement, we have this if else statement, we have this nested if statement, and we have this ladderized if statement. Okay, and on this video I would like to share with you guys the last two forms of if statement, the nested if statement and the ladderized if statement. Okay, and I am going to share you my idea on this by way of giving examples. Okay, I made two examples, and we'll discuss it line by line. Okay, and all you have to do is to listen, and if you can do some parallel moves, meaning while I am trying to discuss my examples, then you do your own also. We have several C compiler online, so you can do it in parallel with me para you can check the program. Okay, so are you ready for this video? I hope I will be sharing good things today for you guys. Okay, and this is my dream that someday, sooner or later, you'll be good in programming, right? So just be mastered with this C programming language, and I tell you, trust me, it would be easier for you to migrate to another programming language. Okay, so here, um, I have the first problem is this: design a program that will ask for an integer value and display its corresponding value in month. Otherwise, display invalid entry. The problem says that you have to create a C program that will eventually ask for an integer value. And it should be from 1 to 12 because we only have 12 months. And from that inputted value, your program or our program will evaluate and check as to what is the corresponding value in month and display. For example, your value is 2. When you press enter key, then your program will display the month is February, like that. And it further says that if the value is beyond the 1 to 12 bound, then your program will display invalid entry. Okay, so in here, it is we all know, no? I made mention this always, that programming is what? It's an art. You can do a lot of tricks, you can do a lot of moves for as long as your program targets the problem, then that's correct. But for the sake of discussing, I would love to use ladderized if statement. Okay, so this is now my program, and we'll try to execute this program online. But for now, I'll just explain this line by line. Okay, normally this is the starting point of our program, right? Include a header file is stdio.h for us to be able to use printf, scanf, and some other C statements. And then here, this is our main function with the curly bracket on the last part also. And here we have, I did use month as my variable, and I declared it as an integer variable. So meaning at any part of my program next to that line, that month, I will be storing values for that, which of course should be an integer value. Okay, and then here I have the printf and scanf partnership, I did use scanf because I need integer value. I cannot use getchar, I cannot use gets, right? Because getchar is for a character value and gets is for a string value. You're familiar with that. I did discuss that already in my previous video. Okay, so um, here if you can see, my printf says enter month value. Okay, and then I specified here 1 to 12. Okay, and then I did use scanf to get value from the keyboard while this program will be running, and then whatever value is that will be stored to month. And here this is now the so-called ladderized if statement. Okay, so as you can see, it is actually a modified else if statement. I check if month is equal to 1. By the way, never mind this double equal. This is actually an operator. This is part of the relational operator. I promise you that one day I will be sharing video intentionally for all operators. We have 3 logical operators, relational operators, and the mathematical operators. I'm going to discuss these 3 operators, how is the behavior of this sooner. Okay, so for now we'll just uh, take this as, this will check if the value of month is the same with 1. Okay, if it is equal to 1, we are not actually storing 1 to month. Okay, we're just comparing the content of month as to whether it is equal to 1. If not, then it goes to the next ladder, and if this falls, next ladder, and falls, next ladder, until such time that the condition becomes true. Okay, so here whatever is the value of month here, i-check na niya, is your month equal to 1? If this condition is false, then proceed to the next ladder. So meaning this part won't be executed by your program. And then if your month is still not equal to 2, then proceed to the next ladder. Okay, and this part won't be executed. And here check na sad niya if month is equal to 3, right? And if it is still false because month is equal to 4, then next ladder, right? Assuming your month is 4. So this line wala na sad would be executed, and then is your month, which is 4, our assumption is equal to 4. Now if this is true, perform and then exit. That's it. Now if your month is not within 1 to 12, it will display what? Invalid entry. Meaning, if all the conditions at the upper ladder are all false, else may nowhere to go but to display invalid entry. Okay, so we'll try just copy and paste here. Okay, for us to go on, and then I'll be using my online compiler. Okay, and in here I would like to paste, right? So if you can see here, this is actually a copy of the one that I discussed in my notepad, online notepad. Okay, so I still have month, and it's being checked how many times? 12 times. If it is 1, that's January. If it is 2, February. If it is 3, March, until 12, which is what? For December. If the value is still false, if the condition is still false, meaning your month is not within 1 to 12, then display invalid entry. Is this logically correct? Of course, diba? There's no such month as 13. There's no such month as 0 or 0.5, right? So we'll try running this program. So here, look at this. Okay, our program now is asking for what? Month value, enter month value. It must be 1 to 12. And if I'm going to type 5, when I press enter key, that 5 will be stored to variable month. Okay, and then when I press enter key, look at that. Equivalent month is May. So meaning when we run the program and we use 5 as our value for month, on the first ladder, the condition was false. On the second ladder, the condition was false. On the third ladder, the condition was false. On the fourth ladder, the condition was false. On the fifth ladder, the condition became true. That's why it's being displayed. Yeah, now they're here. The fifth ladder. The condition becomes true, and it displays equivalent month is May, right? So we'll execute another one, another example, another value. Okay, let's say 11. So when you press enter K, equivalent month is November. So meaning from the first ladder up to the 10th ladder, all conditions were false, and then on the 11th one, it became true, and it displays what? Equivalent month is November. Okay, now one last example. We'll execute. Say for example, we'll input 89. So no month equivalent to 89, right? So it displays invalid entry, meaning if your math value is not within 1 to 12, your program will display invalid entry, right? So this is the good thing with a ladderized if statement. You can have lots of conditions. You're just as good as you're trying to build a ladder, and at any part of the ladder, your program will execute and test the condition. If it is true, it goes false, it goes down. If it is false, it goes down, it goes down, and it goes down. If all are false, then the last part of your ladder if statement is the else portion, meaning if any are false, then this is it. Your value is invalid, or your math is invalid. Okay, so when you are to solve a programming problem, that for you can use this ladderized way of using if statement, and you can do this also. You can use this also. Okay, so I hope I made it clear. I did discuss it clear, and I hope that in your C programming journey somehow you can use this one. You can use this technique. Okay, so here another problem which I'm going to to discuss another form of if statement. Okay, on my previous video I did discuss and I give examples of a simple if statement and even if else statement. Now I am discussing ladderized way of using if statement, and another one, the last form is this one. Okay, sorry, design a program that will ask for 3 values and display the smallest value. Okay, so in this particular problem, you can either use simple if statement, you can even use else if, or you can use the ladderized way. But for your program to be more concise, short, because in programming, the bits and bytes counts. Okay, the shorter the program is, the better, for as long as it caters the problem. Okay, so here, this is my program for this particular problem. My design a program to ask for 3 values. It will be asking for 3 values, and then digest, evaluate, and display the smallest value. Okay, so here I did declare A, B, and C as integer variables, because at the later part of my program I will be asking for 3 values, right? So on the next group here, I made use of printf and scanf. I have here enter 3 values, separate it with space, right? And then scanf. By the way, this is another technique of using scanf. You can ask 3 values. Okay, make use of %day within double quote, comma, then followed by 3 ampersand with matching variables. You can still use this one, and it will still run. Okay, so the technique here is that when you put value, you have to press spacebar para it signals the compiler that the next value is for another variable. That's it. Okay. So your first value will be stored to A in this particular example. Then the second value will be at B, and then the third value will be at C. And now I am here. The first group of if, I did use nested if statement. Okay, take note. We have simple if statement, we have else if, we have ladderized, and now we have nested if. Okay, what makes this one a nested if? This is the mother if statement, and this one is what? That makes this program using nested if. It's an if statement within another if statement. Okay, so because what we are trying to evaluate here is that our program must check which is the smallest value. Okay, so in my case, when I tend to create programs like this, like when I tend to solve a problem like to evaluate the smallest, the largest value, then there's no other way for me to do it but by way of using nested. This is a good technique also, and I hope the level of precision on your part while watching this video is high para eventually you'll be using this also, this technique. Okay, so in here, look at this. Our mother if statement is this one, and we have another if statement within. If this condition is false, the next mother statement is the else portion here. This is another part of if statement, and this one deals with another group of if statement in here. So we have two nested if statements. The first one here, if the condition is true, and if the condition is false, another if statement will take care and evaluate. Okay, so we have three values. Okay, I'll just explain the logic of this technique. We have three values, A, B, and C. Okay, the mother if check if A is greater than no, less than B. Okay, please listen because this is quite a little bit technical. Okay, is A less than B? Okay, if this condition is true, meaning if your A is lesser than B, then knowing the smallest and by way of using elimination process, if this condition is true, B here is being eliminated. It's not part of the issue of which is the smallest, because A is lesser than B. Okay, so here, please follow my screen. If A is lesser than B, meaning if this condition is true, right? We have to eliminate B. Wala na. B must be out of a picture. The question now is which is the smallest, A or C? Because B is being eliminated already. Are you following? If this condition is true. And so, since our focus now is on the value of A and C, what's next? You have to check if what? Which is smaller, A or C? Okay? If this condition is true, then C is eliminated, and the smallest value is what? The smallest is A. Are you following? I'll repeat. I'm sorry. If this condition is true, meaning your A is smaller than B, then by way of eliminating, B is eliminated. Okay? And our focus now is on A and C, which is smaller, A or C. So that is why we have to check as to whether A is smaller than or greater than less than C. If this condition is true, eliminate C and display the smallest value is in A. Are you following? Okay, here. Now, if this condition is false, okay, if A is not less than B, meaning A has a value greater than B, so by elimination process, we have to eliminate A because the value of A is greater than B, and our focus now is on B or C, which is which, right? And since our attention is on B and C, we'll check if B is less than C. If this is true, then the smallest value is in B, right? Or else C is the smallest value. Okay, so I hope you get my point. Okay, so again, if this condition is true, meaning A is less than B, then we have to eliminate B, and we will ask again whether A is lesser than C. So we are now in the nested if. If this condition is true, perform the smallest value is in A. But if this condition is false, what is then the smallest value? It's in variable C, because B is being eliminated already. Are you following? Okay. I'll repeat. If A is less than B, if this condition is true, eliminate B on the picture. The picture now focus on A and C. Then check whether the value of A is less than C. If this is true, the smallest value is in variable A. If this is false, the smallest value is in variable C. It should not be in B because B is eliminated already. Okay? Now, if this is true, the mother if statement. If this is true, then the nested if within the mother if statement will be performed. But then, if this is false, meaning if A is not lesser than B, then this nested if here will not be executed. Our program execution will move and jump to the else portion. And within our else portion is another nested if statement. Okay? So it's here. Look at this. If A is not less than B, meaning the condition is false, we have to eliminate A. So here, if A is less than B, we have to eliminate B. But if this condition is false, we have to eliminate A on the picture. So our focus now is on B or C, right? So that is why we ask on our nested if under else portion if B is lesser than C. Because if this condition is true, then B has the smallest value. If this condition is false, then it must be C contains the smallest value. No more in the world that A contains the smallest value because A previously was being eliminated because in the first place, the condition was false. Okay? So you know when you use nested if, and when you are to eliminate something, or when you are to determine the smallest, the largest, and so on and so forth, I would like to suggest you make use of nested if and apply the process of elimination. Okay, para to make your program a little bit, smaller in terms of bits and bytes and in terms of memory. Okay, so I hope I did discuss it well. So technical, but I'm pretty sure you get it right. Okay, so again, this is the mother if. If this condition is true, perform this nested if. If this condition is false, do not perform this one. Perform the second nested if below, the else portion. Okay. Now, if this condition is true, eliminate B from the picture and check if A is lesser than C. If this is true, then A has the smallest value. If false, C has the smallest value because B was already eliminated. Okay? Now, on the other side, if this condition is false, we have to eliminate A. A is not anymore in the picture, and we'll check if B is lesser than C. If it is lesser than C, then B has the smallest value. If this is false, then C has the smallest value. Okay? So now here, we'll try to execute this program. Let's see if it will run in accordance with my explanation. Okay? I'll just copy and paste here for us to save time. I'm sorry. Okay. Here. Okay. Let's go back to this one. Control C. Online. Control B. Sorry. Control C. Then Control B. Here. Okay. So I have now the program for this one, nested if. Okay. We'll try executing this program. See if this okay. Now we have here enter three values, separate it with space. So say for example our value is 400, right? We have 344 and we have 511. So which is the smallest? We'll press enter K. The smallest is 344, correct? Right? Another example. So 56 space 78 space 23, press enter. The smallest is 23. Meaning our program is correct. It evaluates whatever is the smallest value. Say for example 6, right? We have 9 and we have 9, 6, 8, 9. When we press enter K, the smallest value is 6. So in short, our logic is correct, our formula, our conditions are all correct, our way of using nested if is absolutely correct, and this is a good technique when you are to evaluate the smallest value, the greatest value, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I hope I did discuss it well. I hope I was able to deliver the techniques properly, and I hope in your programming journey somehow you'll be using or you can use these techniques, the ladderized way of using if statement and the nested if statement. Okay, you know, programming is so technical, programming is so logical. Okay, sometimes you'll be creating formulas out from the scratch. You have to be very analytic. You have to be very focused when you do programming because there are lots of challenges. Say to imagine, you're trying to make your laptops or to make your programs behaves like human beings. My laptop now knows how to which is the smallest value. So to imagine. Okay. So thank you so much for now. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something today. And next day another video I will be discussing more and more about C programming language, and hopefully the end of this year you'll enjoy C programming language. Thank you so much for now. Goodbye. God bless us. God bless you. Thank you.